Hey everybody, welcome to day 9. Dia nueve. Yeah, so how is everyone doing? I know I'm just feeling things are getting more intense. Closer, just getting, everyone aware of the excitement of Christmas coming. But yeah, hopefully everyone's doing really great. And yeah, today I wanted to talk about, so it's like, what are you currently in your life thinking, saying, and doing? And like, let's just be present with that for a second, okay? So yeah, so everything that you have going on in your life right now, like when you're talking to friends, when you're like, just like chit chat, it's funny because I really, in conversation, I don't know, and people know me, it's like I really don't talk about the crap stuff, or at least I really, not try not to. And that's the thing. Not that I'm avoiding them, not that I'm avoiding talking about it, but I just know for myself, it's not creating anything more for the situation by amplifying it and getting a bunch of different people's head bubbles involved in something that doesn't concern them, and then getting their opinion and then somehow letting that influence me in my life like at all. It's just funny, all I see is this big thumb just floating around. Um, but it's like now more than ever when you feel a lot of noise and like it's kind of getting noisy around you, it's like take a nice big deep breath, and it's like you can't really get anyone's opinion on anything because they're not you, and they don't know what your targets are for your life. They don't know where you're going, and hopefully you know where you're going. um, anyway, but yeah, that was a little interesting tangent there. Just gonna take a sip of tea. Anyway, but how much do we let other people kind of influence our like ideas about stuff? It's funny, even talking to my mom about like recipes for Christmas, and isn't it interesting that one person says one thing and then you totally question the entire thing, like your entire game plan. It's like don't do that. It's like know what works for you, and like yeah, don't let yourself get distracted. See the squirrel. I know I tell chat gtp that sometimes. I'm like, don't offer me anything else until I complete this. Anyway, but yeah, what else wants to be talked about today, day 9? Yeah. And so with everything that we're thinking, saying, and doing, it's like, are we even aware that it's coming out of our mouths, right? And I guess this is my whole thing, what I was going with earlier. I really try not to talk about situations that aren't going well for me because I know that's not going to do anything. So, what are you thinking, saying, and doing, especially saying in this particular case? But let's go with thinking. So, it's like, what are you thinking? Like, what have you been thinking these days? And I said this to my mom earlier. I love this. It's a simple thing that whatever you've been doing the last 7 days, that's your priority. Like, what have you been doing where's your time been going the last 7 days? And that's your priority, whatever that is, right? So, and you can change that in seconds, right? Anyway, just totally tangent. Julie likes to see squirrels anyway. But on any given day, even like recently, like what have you been thinking? Like what have you been saying to yourself? And let's just be present with it for a second. Like what is your internal dialogue? What has your internal dialogue been recently? We're just going to be aware of that. And the mind is a really interesting, funny, tricky thing. It's like it jumps to a different tangent like every like few seconds, right? So funny that good exercises that thing. I think I was talking about it in like maybe day 1 or day 2. Like when I'm in my bathroom and it's like getting the energy of like say what I would like. Say it's like, I don't know, $200,000, healing massage business, and like get the energy of that and like be that for like 70 seconds, But like that's the whole thing these days with how intuitive everyone is. We're broadcasting, radio broadcasting, and we're picking up everything from every single person that basically goes by. So it's like as soon as I text message with, say, like a friend or a client, I get downloaded with like their entire world, everything that's going on for them, and I guess it's taken good practice to like as soon as I'm aware of that, it's like, oh wow, cool, and I know it's just how cool and how sharp and keen awareness can be if you're acknowledging that's what it is. But what a gift to be able to be aware of things like that, but also everywhere you're using that totally against you and not acknowledging how magical you actually are. Let's just take a moment of silence and acknowledge how magical you are. So when you think that you're all stressed out and compressed and overwhelmed and screwed up, and you're like, I'm all stressed out, right? It's like, no, you're actually aware of, and that's all the stuff. If you actually broke it down and asked questions about it, you could like be like, oh, that anxiety, oh, that's my mom's. Or it's like, oh, this worry, oh, that's my brother's, like you could be aware of all these different things, so what a gift awareness is. So what if instead of thinking, because that's the whole thing, what's faster? Thinking and spinning in your head for hours, like thinking for hours. Or when you know something, it is totally, absolutely instantaneous. When you know something, you're like, I just know it. I just know it, right? So what would it take to really, really trust and relax and to just like, man, I got this because I have my awareness and I can just relax and be like, wow, and see the whole picture. But the more you contract, the more you start thinking and spinning in your head and like looking for this right answer that doesn't exist. That's just not fun. So, yeah. So, on any given day, what have you been thinking? And you can totally change that. You can totally change that. You know how I change that? I'd like go total psycho weirdo and I get like post-it notes and I post things all over the place. And it reminds me to ask questions and it changes the energy of me and the entire day. And like one post-it note, like by my toilet paper roll, like changes the game all the time. And it's just, what would it take for the greatness of me to show up today? It's like, what a cool thing. But it's like a little interrupt of like, no matter what's going on, it's like, wow, reminds me to be magical and remember how magical we are, So what have you been thinking? And if it's not, wow, I'm so grateful to be me. And what are the infinite possibilities today? And what magic can I create in my life today? And what can I contribute to the world? And what can the world contribute to me? And like, what is the greatness of me? And like, what was my body like designed, like born to do? What were you just born to friggin' do? Because I know what I was born to do. So what would it take for you to totally know what you were born to do and what sets you totally on fire? Yeah. So yeah, thinking, saying, and yeah, doing. So it's the action thing, right? So with all the stuff, it's like if you're totally doubting yourself, probably not going to be taking too much action, right? And that's the whole thing. Isn't it funny that if we don't have it all freaking figured out, if we don't have it all figured out from the beginning, we're not even going to try. So it's like, just take action and don't even care. It's like, whatever it is. It's like, it's so funny that things, just nothing ever makes sense, but it's like, do it anyway, you know? And I know I said this before, like days ago, but it's like in 20 years, who's going to care? So it's like, why wouldn't you want to have fun and live your life for you? Right? Anyway, another total tangent. uh, so, yeah, what have you been thinking, saying, and doing? And what would you like to be thinking, saying, and doing? So you could just, like I said, everywhere you think that you can't change that, what can you put in place for yourself so you can change what you think and change what you say to yourself, to other people? Um, but like, man, I know there's definitely some words that people just shouldn't say. It's like a long time ago. It's like no one wanted to say the word cancer. They call it the C word. You know what I mean? But there's just some words that like are so low vibrating and kind of shitty that like they just don't even need to be uttered. Um, but yeah, when you talk about your life, like how much more gratitude for you can you have when you talk about your life, you know? And I know people always say it's like, how are you doing? How are you doing? It's like, not bad. Not bad. It's like, Jesus freaking God. You know? We're in the most civilized country in the world with like the most amount of technology and luxury. Not bad. It's like, oh my God. And meanwhile, the person that's like totally in poverty, totally poor, that has like pants for curtains in Mexico is like so happy. So that's interesting, hey? So, like, what minutia are we distracting ourselves with that doesn't allow us to be happy? And it's like, how entitled have we become that we're just not totally happy every day, you know? And yeah, what would it take for us to give ourselves a break from technology too? And I know I'm doing this on technology, but it's like, what would it take to be the person that, like, I heard someone say this. It's like, we've become an audience in our own life. It's like, oh God, that made me want to almost throw up when I heard that. You've become an audience in your own life. Like, that's like, wow. Wah, wah. So that's the whole thing. Instead of actually the action of living, it's like that the observer of your own life instead of like just living your own life. It's an interesting thing, right? But yeah, you guys, what would it take to have the joy of being alive today and every day? What would it take to have the best sleep that you've ever had tonight? And oh yeah, you guys, what would it take to just love life? What would it take to have the best Christmas that we've ever had yet? Yeah, regardless of stuff, you know? The state of being. The state of being. But yeah, you guys, blessings, magical blessings to you. And yeah, have a great night. We'll see you soon.